And share with me the story that you just shared when last time you had Botox, which happens to quite a few patients. Go ahead.
Last time I had Botox, the doctor put it too far right here and it made me look like Spock.
Spock.
Yeah.
So look like Spock. I hear that a lot, and I still see that quite often, even to not the extreme case. But you can tell who's had Botox when everything is kind of just frozen here, and as you talk to them, they're still kind of naturally hooking it up. And that's because, go ahead and lift your brows. You see, she's pretty strong. That's why you test everybody. Look how strong she hooks that up. That's a deep line right there. So the frontalis muscle is responsible for these lines here, but it's also responsible for raising your brows. So when we relax the muscle here so the lines are better, you sort of have to be careful, because if you do too much, then the brows will feel heavy. So how do we go about kind of like figure out what's enough? Well, what I like to do, tell patients, is we want to do enough, but if we have to do a tiny little touch-up, you want to do about 2 weeks out. If you try to hit it right all the time, then the brows will drop. It will feel too heavy. So what I tell patients is this. So the first thing I always try to do is I always make sure that we get enough Botox right where it hooks up, so that way it's the last thing we want to see is when they have that kind of Spocky look, or even a little movement, and people can tell they have Botox, and no one wants that, right?
Right.
Okay, so go ahead and raise your brows again, and you can see where it peaks right there. Now relax for me. Now I want to inject a little bit right here. Now it's going to diffuse down and take care of. Can I get a Q-tip? So that way everyone kind of understand, and it's a great lesson for most people who get Botox. That way they understand. A little education always helps. Raise it. So a lot of people are bothered by, go ahead and raise it again, by this line here. Now this line is very close to her eyebrow. If I try to go like even near it and try to knock it out completely, it could, now relax now, it could make her brow feel really heavy. So what I tell patients is we may not be able to neutralize this line completely. I'm going to see how much it does, and if you still move a little bit, then I may just touch up on it a little bit, but she's still gonna have to put up with a little bit, just a little bit, because if you try to knock it out, then it's gonna drop her brow, okay? So same thing with the other side. Raise your eyebrows. See, she hooks it up right there. Now relax. Now that should really, just 2 units here will really take care of that, relaxing that. It's gonna get some of this line right here. Now raise it again. It may not get this completely. Again, I'm not trying to knock it out 100%. Maybe 50%, and we'll see how she does. And then I just sort of spread half a unit throughout her forehead. She doesn't, you know, when I started doing this, they taught us to do like 20 units in the forehead, but I averaged 8 to 10 the most. Normally it's 8 units in the forehead, and that's all you need. Because if you do too much, it's gonna feel too heavy. Now let's do her crow's feet next. So she's, you know, I mean, most of it is in this area right here, so relax. So we can just kind of relax that a little bit right here. She's kind of strong, and so again, everyone's a little different in terms of how much they need. But when this line right here, relax now. This line is probably from her sleeping on this side and kind of causing that line right there, and the rest of her crow's feet. Right there. Nothing wrong with a little touch up. You have to. Okay. Alright, so let's see. Okay, go ahead and frown. Okay, look how strong she is. Gosh, that's some strong muscle there. Right? Alright, so we're going to make sure that we help her with this. So again, there's the corrugator muscle. Sure, there now. Frown again. Notice how this line goes a little bit higher. So relax for me. So they always come back to complain, hey, this line is still a little pressed. I'm just going to put 1 unit there. Right there. Right there. And again, so this is all within her corrugator muscle. Which go ahead and frown again. So again, look how deep that line is. So look how this hooks really down. So I want to make sure it relaxes now. I want to make sure I really get the tail end of that, so that way it'll relax that and make it look really nice for her. What that's going to do is again, it's about balance, right? If you do the frontalis muscle, it's gonna make this heavy. And go ahead and frown for me. When she frowns, what does she do? She brings down her brow. We all do that. When we frown, we bring down her brow. So you wanna balance it out by relaxing these muscles here so it'll kind of help open it up and lift it up. If you do this alone, you don't do this, then it's gonna be really heavy. And if you do this and you don't do this, then this is really gonna be really active and it's gonna be start hooking up. So you sort of have to kind of balance it out. And I think that'll look good. Again, it takes 3 to 7 days to take effect. Initially, patients always say after the first week, they'll say, you have to tell them ahead of time so they'll know. After the first week, it will feel like slightly heavy because this muscle is weaker. So it's gonna relax a little bit more. These muscles are stronger, so this is really gonna pull down her brows. So she's gonna say it feels kind of heavy after the first week, but then during the first, second week, when these muscle relaxes, then it will start to kind of balance out for her. So that's something that patients, if they're aware of, then they don't worry. Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks.